Audio Jungle.
When Li Dan saw Guiyang for the first time, he didn't look very scared. They are really used to staying in Tianya High Pavilion. As long as the senior brothers are a little older and their qualifications are not too bad, they have basically entered the ranks of the spirit-gathering realm. For example, the third and fourth senior brothers who have played with him till adulthood. However, when I met Guiyang for the first time, I could still see some excitement on the face of this old man with the vicissitudes of life. Old Guiyang, thank you very much for taking care of me on Qianhu Island last night. The old man, who looked to be in his 50s or 60s, first bowed solemnly to Li Dan. Because his family was also on Qianhu Island last night, if the sneak attack was successful, the consequences would be disastrous. This is the real feeling of going out to hunt and come back to find that your home has been stolen. They have never used such tactics before, and the long-term habits have made them accustomed to it and become careless. These Neptunes are so good at learning. Although he was in the spirit-gathering realm, it could be seen from the young man's eyes that he was already used to it from the first time the two met. Fortunately, he is from a big place, and his words and conversations are full of nobility. Master Guidao, you're welcome, this is what I should do, Li Dan said. Guiyang looked at Li Dan's fair face and asked with a smile, young master, are you coming from the interior? Li Dan nodded, that's right. By the way, Lord Gu, do you have a map of the inland area? Can you let me see it? Guiyang looked at Li Dan and burst into laughter. Master Li, you didn't come here accidentally from the teleportation array, right? Li Dan, who had been smiling, suddenly changed his expression. How does he know? Is there a direct way back from here? Seeing Li Dan's appearance, Guiyang took a sip of tea and found that it was almost as expected. It seems that the young master is indeed from a large sect as the old man guessed. To be honest, many people appear unexpectedly on the surrounding islands every year. According to what I have learned over the years, they are basically teleportation arrays. Came unexpectedly. For example, there is insufficient energy and it is thrown over halfway, or the formation is incomplete, or the coordinates change unexpectedly, it is attacked by humans during the transmission process, etc. Here, like an invisible magnet, all of you who have made mistakes are sent here. In the past, many strong men from the interior came here to explore the cause, but unfortunately they found nothing. So the old man has long been used to it. Every year he prepares many maps for you lost people to keep. I just have a copy of it for you. Enthusiastic Guiyang handed the prepared map to Li Dan. Li Dan took it in a daze. He really didn't expect that there was such a strange thing. He thought he was just one person. When I took the map and looked at it, my eyes suddenly lit up, because at the top of the map, he saw the word Jing. In this continent, there are many countries, large and small, built according to the location. And their Tianya Hage is one of the many sects in Jing. In other words, when he arrived in Jing, even if he asked people, he still went back after asking. Then take a look at where you are now. My dear, why are you so far away? Quite the opposite. The teleportation breaking formation was so powerful that it almost spanned the entire map. Guiyang took out a pipe from nowhere, dusted it on the soles of his shoes, then lit a fire and smoked Lauhan's cigarette. Speaking of which, in the past years, people who came unexpectedly only asked questions and left in a hurry. This time, the young master did not leave, but stayed overnight and saved so many people on Qianhu Island. It's fate. Sir, don't frown. I don't know where you come from, but have you seen the red mark on the map? That is the inland Ryuan city, which is also one of the largest large cities in the surrounding area. There is a super building there, a large long-distance teleportation array. You can try your luck there to see if there are coordinates close to your area. In the past, many lost people would go there and go back through the teleportation array, but each teleportation costs 200 spiritual crystals, Guiyang said. When Li Dan heard this, he couldn't help but be secretly surprised. There must be a teleportation array over there in Jing State. This is really unexpected good news. In this case, Li Dan was completely relieved. The most important thing now is your own self-discipline task. Thank you so much, Lord Gu. Your help will be unforgettable. Li Dan's face was full of gratitude. Gu Yang blew out a long puff of smoke. Young Master Li, you are so polite. I should thank you. Mr. Li will accept this. Gu Yang patted the storage bag, and a bar-shaped box appeared on the table. When he opened it, there was a crimson sea cucumber-like thing lying quietly inside, exuding astonishing vitality. This is Earth Flame Gallbladder. Judging from its appearance, it must be at least over 800 years old. Li Dan was shocked and immediately recognized this rare elixir. After all, he had read books in the medicine garden behind Manhwa Peak in order to prepare for the exam. Although I have never seen it, I remember it deeply, because this Diandin is one of the few medicinal sources that can extend lifespan, especially those that are more than 500 years old are extremely precious. Li Dan looked at Gu Yang, a little confused. Gu Yang recognized Di Yindan as soon as he looked at Li Dan, and he was immediately more certain that he definitely came from one of those big sects. Otherwise, at such a young age, not only has his cultivation reached the middle stage of Huan Yuan realm, but he also has such knowledge. It seems like this is the right move. This is what I found in the territory of the expelled sirens this time. It is my thanks to you. Gu Yang pushed the box in front of Li Dan. Li Dan quickly said, No, Lord Gu Island. Gu Yang raised his hand and waved. I know, maybe Mr. Li doesn't like this, but this is the most precious thing this old man gets. Don't refuse it. I am old and can see many things. I understand a lot. To be honest, if you were not here this time, if my wife, children were harmed at all, I would spend the rest of my life in endless pain. So, do you understand? Li Dan looked at this precious earth inflammation gall and licked his lips. To be honest, this 800-year-old earth flame gallbladder would cost at least tens of thousands of spiritual crystals alone, so you just have to decide whether it is precious or not. But looking at Gu Yang's appearance, he felt uneasy if he didn't accept him. Forget it, take it. Then I'll be disrespectful. Thank you, Lord Gu, Li Dan said with a smile. Gu Yang became happy when he saw this. To be honest, over the years, whenever outsiders came, he would give some small gifts to deepen the relationship. Maybe one day there would be big returns. It's just that this time, Li Dan was the most expensive, and he was grateful from the bottom of his heart. The two chatted happily and talked about other things. It was not until he saw that Li Dan seemed to be in a hurry that Gu Yang resigned and left. Li Dan, on the other hand, found the location of the port, found a small boat, and quietly rushed into the deep sea. There is no way. I have to stick to today's self-discipline task. After going deep for a long time, when it was almost noon, Li Dan, who was standing at the bow of the boat, his eyes suddenly lit up. I found you, dear sea beasts. Wake up, it's hunting time. Deep under the sea, there are nearly 300 sea beasts of various colors wandering around, and some are lazily sleeping on the craters of the seabed. No one noticed that there was a bubble tightly stuck to the back of one of them, and inside the bubble was a group of human spiritual energy fluctuations. This is the spy placed by Li Dan among the enemies. At this moment it is sleeping soundly. Today's sea beasts are half as many as the more than 100 that attacked that day, just because another team joined in. The distribution of sea beasts is actually the same as that of humans, showing a tribal state. There is a tribe leader who can command them at any time. Not only are they smart, but they are also good at practicing. They are commonly known as sea monsters. When the Greater King began to call, many tribes formed a rope and listened to his orders. Today, a tribe from Lingdian came together, and its siren was a male shark. He was responsible for a sneak attack on the surrounding Broken Star Island last night, and I heard that the harvest was quite fruitful. How is it possible that there is still a Huan Yuan realm human spiritual cultivator on Qianhu Island? It's too miserable for you, isn't it? Male shark looked at the sea lion and gloated. The sea lion looked at the redness and swelling on its body and itched at the roots of its teeth. When it thought of that human being under the night, it made it want to peel off its skin and twitch. Don't be too proud. When the king pretended to retreat and lured them out, the task assigned to us was to sneak attack all the surrounding islands. Originally, Broken Star Island was my target. You said it was close to you, and I gave it to you. Now you should be the one who gets hurt, the sea lion said angrily. The male shark gently shook his fishtail and swam around in a circle, put one hand on his chin and said, "We Inhumans, whichever side wins, takes a step back and gives up resources for them to explore." How much does it cost? Over the years, a tacit understanding has formed a habit. This time the king asked us to take us by surprise. 27 teams were hidden, which reduced the combat effectiveness of the large forces and led them to retreat miserably. The strong men from each island also went out as usual to collect resources. Everything was planned. Look at the other teams, including me, who made a lot of money this time. Not only did they kill a lot of humans, but they also took away their resources before leaving. Why are you so unlucky? Before he could get close, he was chased and ran away in panic. There were only a few dozen followers left in the team, which was so miserable. Facing the male shark's words, the sea lion punched the rock and spit out a series of bubbles. Seemingly thinking of something, it hurriedly said, "By the way, there's one more thing you think is evil or not. The human race ambushing me can not only understand what I say, but can also speak our language." When the male shark heard this, he immediately shook his head in disbelief. How is it possible? Our race on the seabed is independent and has an independent language. How can they humans say, "I heard that on the land, in addition to humans, there are also various monsters. They live in the same territory and speak different languages." The king also said that there are other tree human languages, elven languages, troll languages, etc. They can't even communicate with each other. How can anyone understand our language? You must have been hallucinating because you were beaten so hard, the male shark vowed. The sea lion snorted, thought about it carefully, and shook his head. "I'm definitely not dazzled. He is indeed speaking our sea monster language. I heard that humans have very strong talents. They have photographic memory and can read things once learn. The other party must have studied our language in depth, so I suspect that if I was ambushed by him this time, it is very likely that he had already understood our intentions. Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence?" Male shark laughed and said, "You mean, when the plan was laid out, he was hiding around, and then he understood what we said and went to ambush you? Since the other party has the strength of the middle stage of Huayuan realm, if he wants to stay it should be easy to kill you. Why do I only beat you and not kill you?" The sea lion looked at the redness and swelling all over his body and became even more angry. Not very harmful, but very insulting. "If I encounter that human again, I will tear him into pieces," the sea lion said angrily. Boom! Next, the bottom of the sea trembled, and then a sea beast staggered in. Report to the clan leader, that human race came to the door yesterday." What? When the sea lion heard this, he became furious, picked up his weapon and rushed out. The male shark blinked. Is it true? When they came out of the extinct volcano cave below, they saw Li Dan standing on the bottom of the sea, with a bubble of spiritual powers surrounding him, isolating him. At this moment, he had his arms folded and was looking around curiously, and more than 300 sea beasts have surrounded him. This is the first time Li Dan has come to the bottom of the sea like this, but with his current supply of spiritual power, he can only last for half an hour at most. This is still without being attacked, and his own counterattack consumes spiritual power and other factors. If this layer of spiritual energy bubble bursts, it is really possible to be suffocated to death. Practitioners can do things that ordinary people can't do, but in the end they are still ordinary people, and they are far from being able to do whatever they want in every place. Fortunately, this time it was just a provocation, not a fight. Soon, the sea lion and the male shark came out with weapons. Enemies are extremely jealous when they meet. Sea lion will never forget the insult he did to him last night. You see, he is the one who dares to come to my door. He looks down on me at all. Lao Hei, Help me, Sea Lion said directly to the male shark. The male shark was full of curiosity. It seems that he really has some tricks up his sleeve. He even knows where you are stationed. It's interesting. Suddenly, the two sea monsters exuded the strength of the early stage of Huayuan realm and approached Li Dan. Human, can you leave your name? Sea Lion asked, suppressing the anger in his heart. Li Dan picked his ears. Why did the other party's words sound so familiar? By the way, last night when it was approaching the deep sea area, it shouted such a sentence. Unfortunately, it only progressed to 1/30 of the siren language, so it was not very proficient. But I'm definitely still scolding myself. Barbarians have no cultivation at all. If you still cultivate to the Huayuan realm, you are simply blind. Nan Shao looked at Li Dan, who was confused at first and then angry, and whispered, "Is this what you mean by understanding our language? I don't understand it at all." Vomit. Li Dan finally saw clearly the other sea monster next to the sea lion. Let me go. Isn't this the pervert who was fished out at that time? It's so disgusting. Why do all the mermaids have big yellow buck teeth and dead fish eyes? Can't there be beautiful female mermaids? Li Dan didn't want to stay anymore. He didn't say a word, but slowly raised his middle finger to the sea lion. Before they could react, Tutu ran away. The sea lion's body was shaking violently, and its eyes were scarlet. So shameless! So shameless! The insult last night was not enough. This time he came to the door and insulted it in front of outsiders. I can't stand it anymore. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to cut you into pieces. Children, come on, kill him. The sea lion roared, holding a trident, and was the first to charge forward. More than 70 sea beasts followed their clan leader, and the remaining 200 or so beasts all looked at the male shark. What are you still doing? Come on, didn't you see him spitting on me in front of my face? This is a huge insult to my handsome appearance. After the male shark roared angrily, he immediately followed. Suddenly, waves and sand rolled on the bottom of the sea, and all the sea beasts roared and chased after Li Dan. At the bottom of the sea, Li Dan was not Sun Wukong, so he couldn't hold on for too long, so he ran quickly towards the sea surface. That is your main battlefield. It has been detected that the mission progress has been started by itself and is being chased by sea beasts. The progress bar on the second day is completed by 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%. Wind movement proficiency +1, +2, +3, +3. Siren language proficiency +1, +3, +3, +2. The system's voice sounded as promised. Li Dan was so pleased that he easily dodged the water arrows. When he saw that he was crossing a trench, the system's voice sounded again. Ding, it is detected that there are 8 50-year-old nightshade flowers 30 meters below. Combined with the earth inflammation gall possessed by the host itself, it triggers the hidden reward Lohiden Dan recipe. Lohiden is a new type of third-grade elixir. When swallowed, it can breathe freely on the seabed and travel unimpeded, like a fish in water. In addition, depending on the year and vitality of the medicine, it can break through to a new level. Other required medicinal materials are being searched and scanned. The scan is completed, and all the remaining medicinal herbs are available here. Immediately afterwards, in Li Dan's consciousness, all the surrounding scenes became transparent. On some sea rocks, seabed, and even sea ridges, swaying elixirs appeared, appearing red and extremely eye-catching. This is exactly the same scene as what I saw in the misty forest that night. Moreover, it is a new type of elixir. Like the sloughing bone pill that solved Oyangling's problem, it has never been seen before. You must know that the current elixir recipes on the mainland were developed by each family after many years and unimaginable failures. After so many years, medicinal herbs have been scarce, new prescriptions have been few and far between, and everyone is just eating their old laurels. But these old books left by the ancients are kept strictly confidential and refuse to be leaked. After all, this is an alchemist or a family breadwinner. What Li Dan didn't expect was that this third-grade Luo Erden could breathe freely under the sea. In other words, you no longer need to rely on the spiritual oxygen bubble in your body. More importantly, you can break through a realm. Thinking about it, that dying gallbladder has great potential as a medicine, and it seems that it didn't take long for me to break through to the mid-term. Li Dan suddenly became happy. This was simply an unimaginable, unexpected gain. Thanks to Guiyang Island Master, without his Earth Flame gallbladder, I really wouldn't be able to trigger this hidden reward. Seeing a large group of sea monsters chasing after him, especially the two sea monsters at the head who were swearing, Li Dan turned his head and headed towards the trench below, picking the 8 hidden nightshade flowers with ease. Damn, Lao Hei, did you see that he didn't take our brothers seriously at all and picked resources in front of us? This is provocation. Chigwig was provocation. Sea Lion bared his teeth and claws angrily. But this human being is too fast, and he can do it with ease, and he seems to have good movement skills. The male shark was also angry. At this moment, it somewhat understood the sea lion's insulted behavior last night. "It's so arrogant," said the male shark. "Old lion, lead the people around from the left and leave the right to me. Let's encircle." "Okay, since he is here today, don't even think about going back. Break the air bubbles in his breathing first. Even if he is in the middle stage of the transformation realm, he won't be able to exert much strength." The two sirens hit it off immediately, had a clear division of labor, and took encirclement measures. After Li Dan collected the nightshade flowers, he felt that the oxygen in the bubbles was a little insufficient, and because the pressure on the seabed was too high, he could only give up other herbs temporarily and go up to take a breath first. And looking at their movements, I immediately guessed their intentions. After laughing, they quickly used the wind technique and flew upwards. "Don't let him run away, stop him." The two sea monsters shouted anxiously, and the sea beasts roared and tried to stop him, but Li Dan accelerated and flew out with a clatter. Lin Li was in the air, watching the sea beasts still attacking relentlessly. Li Dan's face burst into laughter. "Ding, the progress bar is 37% complete. It's too arrogant. Damn humans. If you have the ability to leave your name, I will ask my king to come and settle the score with you." On the sea surface, more than 300 heads popped out of the darkness, and the sea lion pointed angrily at Li Dan. Li Dan, who was originally in a good mood, suddenly became unhappy. "Scolded me again." Li Dan raised his middle finger at them. "You're scolding me, right? You know that if the east is not bright and the west is bright, you are what you are, you are what you are. I'm talking about you, and you damn pervert. So much sea salt and not brushing my teeth, it just insults my mermaid image." Li Dan really wanted to scold him in Kraken, but he wasn't proficient enough now. He could only spell it out in bulk, but he would be laughed at. "When I become proficient, I will scold you in your language to see who can scold whom." "What is he talking about? Is this name too long?" Danchao asked. The sea lion shook his head. It doesn't seem like he was talking about his name. He should be saying, "Let us have the ability to come up and challenge him one-on-one. Don't rely on the strength of the crowd." I know that gesture. It is common across the continent. He is scolding us. I can't bear it anymore. I want to fight him to the death. The sea lion was about to charge forward, but the male shark held him back, and then cautiously glanced at the sea level. "Don't be fooled. He is so crazy. He either has crazy capital, or he has set a trap for us to escape. Let's not go out. The ocean is our battlefield." The sea lion also reacted, but there seemed to be no other humans around, but he did not leave. Before Lenovo, he came to provoke them for no reason, but never attacked. There must be something fishy, or some formation restriction was set up in mid-air. Uncertain. Human beings are too cunning and need to be more careful. It looked at the male shark with a grateful face, but it was too impulsive and almost fell into the trap. Then, it gestured to Li Dan with its middle finger. "Why should you let me go up? If you have the ability, come down. Come down, come down." More than 300 sea beasts shouted as they floated on the sea surface holding various knives and forks. Li Dan understood these words. "I'll go, You're shameless. You know I'm poor at water, so you're irritating me, right? Do you believe that you can't do anything to me even if I'm in the water when I refine Lohedian? Come up and chase me if you can. Li Dan patted his butt and twisted at them. The two sea monsters were so angry that they clasped their hands, but if they went up, they would definitely fall into the trap. We are not stupid. Come down. Come up here. Come down. Come up. On the empty sea, a rare scene appeared. One person, two monsters, and hundreds of beasts were yelling and swearing at each other in the air. No one gives in. 3 hours later, under the scorching sun, the sea surface was sparkling, and the male shark gasped, You continue, I will go down and moisten my throat. Don't be compared to this human being. As long as we are not fooled, the tricks he left behind will be used against us. It's no use, make him mad. The sea lion also felt his throat was burning. Wait for me, I'll go down and moisten it too. If something goes wrong, there must be a demon. He's not giving up until now. He is definitely irritating us. Haha, we won't be fooled. We will be so angry. You, children, keep scolding me. Victory belongs to us. After the sea lion finished speaking, he gestured to Li Dan with his middle finger and dived in. Li Dan was also out of breath, especially because the sun above his head and the reflection from the sea were hot and dazzling. My throat is also burning. You beasts, how can you be so stubborn? These sea beasts are probably donkeys. Seeing that his spiritual power was rapidly depleting and he could not fly for long, Li Dan became a little anxious. But we can't just admit defeat. When I looked at my progress again, I found it stayed at 37%, motionless. But he didn't want to admit defeat and lose to a group of beasts. Wouldn't he be worse than a beast? At this moment, Li Dan burst out laughing when he saw two sea monsters swearing and diving into the sea. You are the only ones who want to fight me. If you have the ability, continue to persevere. What's the point of running away? Leave a group of younger brothers here to show off their power and scare me. Fuck you. Li Dan immediately rose into the air, opened the distance, and sent down a powerful spiritual attack. Boom! Those sea beasts that had not yet reacted were immediately blown away, with blood flowing everywhere. Li Dan, on the other hand, left quickly and found a place to use spiritual crystals to replenish his physical strength. He would come back later. The task was not completed yet. The remaining sea beasts were stunned as they looked at their dead companions close at hand. It was so unexpected. I was so unprepared mentally. Didn't everyone agree to start a fight? You just do it when you say it. The sea lion and the male shark hurriedly showed their heads and saw their men dying tragically, and their claws suddenly burst into pieces. If we don't do anything, we'll go down and moisten our throats, and you'll do this. Young man, if you don't follow martial ethics and attack from behind, I advise you to use rat tail juice. On a reef, Li Dan held the spiritual crystal in both hands and was rapidly absorbing the spiritual power in it to replenish his body. An hour later, the spiritual crystal in his hand gradually turned into fly ash and slipped from his fingers. As for Li Dan, the aura throughout his body was surging and he was back to his peak again. After checking the prescriptions about Luo Erden in his mind, Li Dan stood up excitedly, looked at the ocean in front of him, and flew away. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. 15 of my subordinates were killed like this in front of us. How can I bear it? In the cave of the extinct volcano, the sea lion was angry, because it was its subordinates who were killed and injured this time. There weren't many of them in the first place. How could you be so accurate? The male shark standing at the entrance of the cave looked at his subordinates sitting on the floor tiredly one by one, and he also let out a long sigh. Turn around and look at the sea lion. Old lion, I also think that man is too crazy and doesn't take us too seriously at all, but his cultivation level is in the middle stage of Hua Yuan realm. It's really not possible for the two of us alone. It's really not possible. We will be surrounded by the old turtles, and 8 claws from the sea came to help. With the 4 Hua Yuan realms and their respective subordinates, I don't believe it. We can't kill him yet. After listening to the male shark's suggestion, the sea lion thought about it and decided to agree. Although a little embarrassed, the surrounding Lao turtle and Ba Zhao were indeed the fastest companions to come to help. Okay, that's it. I'll send it now. Boom. Suddenly, there was another tremor on the bottom of the sea, and the sea beast that was reported before came in again. Report, boss, that human is knocking on the door again. Beast, do you think you can bear this? I can't stand it at all. I'm going to kill him, kill him. The sea lion was furious again and again. This is not only looking down on it, but openly insulting it. You are so inhumane. Male shark was also angry and followed him out directly. When he got outside, Li Dan still stood with his arms crossed, a bubble trembling slightly around his body. He had actually come down a long time ago, but first he went to the previous trench and quietly collected all the herbs from Rohidon. It has to be said that there are abundant resources on the seabed. No wonder there are always fights and snatchings over Qianhu Island. Thinking that he could refine the elixir when he went back tonight, Li Dan hurriedly ran to complete the progress bar of the self-discipline task. You have to chase me. If you don't chase me, my 37% progress will not move. This time, seeing Li Dan's understatement, Haishir didn't even bother to ask, and just rushed forward. Kill. Many sea beasts also swarmed up. Li Dan didn't fight back, turned around and ran away. Under the sea, Li Dan became more and more proficient in his wind skills, and he was like a fish in water, squealing with excitement. Why is this pleasure of being chased but unable to catch up so exciting? Do I have masochistic tendencies? Behind them, a large group of sea beasts, including 2 sea monsters, screamed in anger. In the ocean, in your own territory, but being teased like this by a human on land, how can you not be crazy? But I can't fucking catch up. Ding, the progress of being chased by sea beasts is 46%, 47%, 48%. Li Dan ran and chased after them. If they were far away, the progress bar stopped, and Li Dan also stopped and waited for them. Could these guys be lost? If I can leave your name behind, I will curse you to death. The sea lion almost madly shot out from the side. The aura around him was so powerful that it instantly felt like an explosion, spewing out overwhelmingly. Sweep across the bottom of the sea and go straight to Li Dan. Boom! Just as Li Dan narrowly avoided it, a violent explosion sounded, causing the surrounding seabed to shake. The male shark also came in anger and turned into an afterimage. He carried a blazing flame in one hand and smashed Li Dan's head hard. Li Dan hurriedly crossed his arms, and immediately his spiritual power surged, rapidly strengthening his defense. Then he continued to increase his speed and used Fengshu to dodge again. Seeing the 2 sea monsters coming again, Li Dan swallowed. Just curse people, why are you going crazy? And it turns out that when the potential is unleashed, it can be so terrifying. Li Dan turned around and ran away again, but a large group of sea beasts chased him with knives and forks behind him. Time is passing and Li Dan keeps running away. Several times I was almost stuck in a dead end by these 2 crazy idiots. I was at a disadvantage because this was their territory and you were a stranger. Ding, the progress of being chased by sea beasts on the second day is 100%, and today's self-discipline task is completed 2/30. Siren language proficiency progress 2/30. Wind movement proficiency progress is 2/30. As the system's announcement sound fell, Li Dan finally let out a long sigh of relief. At this moment, the oxygen in the bubble also reached the critical point, and he quickly headed towards the sea level. Wow! Li Dan felt so refreshed after narrowly escaping several encirclements and breathing fresh air again. Gulu! One after another, the heads of sea beasts emerged from the sea, moving up and down with the waves. But a pair of eyes full of humiliation were staring at Li Dan in the sky. Li Dan looked at the sky, and it was getting dark before he knew it. In order to complete the task, it is not easy. Human, we have completely settled this feud. Either you die or I die. The sea lion looked up at Li Dan and roared again and again. Until death, there will be no rest. Till death, there will be no rest. Hundreds of sea beasts roared, and Li Dan felt a little pity when he heard them chirping. The siren language I learned today is still too superficial. I don't know when I will be able to fully understand it. Thank you for your kindness. It's already dark, and I have to go home for dinner. Let's play tomorrow. After Li Dan finished speaking, he looked at them still chirping, shook his head, and flew away. Looking at Li Dan's back, the sea lion seemed to ignore Li Dan's traps. Even if he couldn't defeat them, he would still rush forward to defend his dignity. Twice a day. You are completely treating me like a fool. Brother, hold on, he's repeating his old trick, can't you understand? The male shark held onto the sea lion tightly, fearing that it would stupidly rush up and fall into this cunning human's plan. The sea lion trembled and watched as Li Dan's figure gradually turned into a black dot. What should we do now? He seems to have really left, Haishir said, suppressing the anger in his heart. The male shark also looked at the figure and snorted, what he wants is our opinion. Do you think what you think is what you think? You thought he left, but in fact he did not leave. Think about it at noon today, those of your dead men. The sea lion's eyes gradually brightened and he looked around, suddenly lowered his voice, damn humans, they are so cunning. Do you really think we are stupid? You are right, he is actually hiding around us. Human formations are powerful. I heard that there are many phantom formations that can easily blind our senses. Maybe he is staring at us with a playful gaze at this moment. The male shark nodded and quietly came closer. Shoo, keep your voice down. We are going to surprise him this time. Just like at noon, we pretended to moisten our throats. As soon as he appears and takes action against our men, we will violently attack him. He rushed forward, used this spirit chain, attacked from both sides, and dragged him into the water. The sea lion's eyes became brighter and brighter, and he nodded repeatedly. After instructing his subordinates to continue scolding, Kazuo Samiba pretended to be nonchalant, whistled, and slowly sank to the bottom of the sea. Li Dan returned to Qianhu Island and immediately saw Guiyang watching the sunset on the shore. Guiyang was also a little surprised when he saw Li Dan. Master Gu Island, do you miss your youth? Li Dan got off the boat and greeted with a smile. Guiyang looked at Li Dan, whose face was glowing under the setting sun, and puffed on a cigarette. I thought you had left with the map, but it turns out you haven't left. Of course I'm not leaving. People from the mainland have never seen the sea, so I plan to stay a little longer and have fun, Li Dan said in a good mood. When Guiyang heard this, of course he welcomed him greatly. There are not many Huayuan realms on Qianhu Island, so if Li Dan is here, there will be an extra layer of security. It's a good relationship. You can just stay here. Maybe someone else will accidentally fall here through the teleportation array. You can go to Ryuan City together and take the teleportation array, Guiyang said with a smile. Li Dan could only smile and nod in agreement. By the way, Master Gudao, I was just about to ask you something. Is there any place with earth fire around here? I need earth fire to refine something, Li Dan asked hurriedly. It is extremely difficult to refine a third-grade elixir using your own spiritual power alone to turn it into fire, and it cannot reach the melting point. Only earth fire can do it. Guiyang was a little curious. Generally, those who use earth fire are either alchemists or blacksmiths. Of course, there are also some skills that require flame training. Judging from Li Dan's young age, it must be necessary for his martial arts. Guiyang nodded. Let me just say that Mr. Li is destined to be with us. To be honest, Qianhu Island itself was formed by a submarine volcano. Of course, it has become an extinct volcano now, but there are some underground fires. There are still some. There is my seal at the entrance. I am afraid that if a large-scale outbreak occurs and bring panic to everyone, there is nothing to do tonight, so I will take you there. When Li Dan heard this, he was surprised again and again. Looking at the dark night in the distance, there is indeed a small mountain-like figure there. Guiyang must have gone with him because he was afraid that he would supervise him with ill intentions. But this is also human nature. As the island owner, he needs to be responsible to the countless islanders on the island. And for him to dare to tell you frankly about the existence of volcanoes is already a huge amount of trust. Then I'll trouble Lord Gu Island. Li Dan saluted sincerely. Guiyang has always been like an ordinary kind old man, smiling and smoking old dry cigarettes. It is hard to imagine that he is a third-step spirit-gathering realm powerhouse. The two of them were chatting and laughing when they came to the entrance of a cave that went straight down. Before they entered, Li Dan could feel the hot breath coming towards his face. "This is it. Young master, please go ahead and call me if you need anything," Guiyang said. Li Dan nodded and walked in. After turning more than a dozen turns, a fiery red world appeared in front of him. In the cave, the fiery red magma was flowing slowly. Occasionally, bubbles emerged from the magma. After a moment, there was a bang, like a blooming firework. Is this really an extinct volcano? Li Dan wiped the sweat from his head and quickly refined the medicine. This is not a real earth fire. If you leave it for a long time, it will easily become poisonous. Li Dan took out a series of more than 30 kinds of medicinal materials such as Dian gallbladder, Julangui, and so on. After confirming the specifications and precautions of Luahidan's elixir, he threw them into the sky above the magma with a flick of his finger. Then he used his mental power to control it carefully and refine it repeatedly, turning it into balls of red powder. Take it back, and then extract the gallbladder. The proficiency of a junior alchemist allows him to control everything with ease. The moon was sparse. Guiyang sat at the entrance of the cave, looking at the sparkling sea level in the distance and the candlelight in the direction of his home. A happy smile appeared on his wrinkled face. At this moment, Li Dan was sweating profusely. A strong wind passed by, and with a move of his palm, a water blue pill flew from the air and landed steadily on Li Dan's palm middle. Looking at the Luahidan that was successfully refined in one go, Li Dan smiled. Without saying a word, he put it directly into his mouth. There is no better place to break through than here. With the entrance of the elixir, a huge vitality instantly filled his body, and Li Dan hurried to guide this energy. Time passed quietly, and before you knew it, it was late at night, and Guiyang frowned outside the cave entrance. It's really been too long. Nothing unexpected will happen, right? Just when he stood up and was about to take a look, the sound of footsteps slowly sounded from the cave. Immediately afterwards, Li Dan's figure walked out. The moment he saw Li Dan again, Guiyang's eyes suddenly froze. Huayuan Realm, later stage. Genius, real genius, he is worthy of coming from a large sect in the interior. He is only so young, but he has already reached this stage in his quest for the title. It is estimated that it won't be long before he can reach the spirit-gathering realm at his fingertips. Looking at myself again, I have spent most of my life just gathering souls, and there is no hope of further advancement. It seems that the earth flame at that time gave him courage and made the right move. Congratulations, congratulations. Congratulations to Li Shiyao for taking a step forward in his cultivation. He is just around the corner to aspire to the Soul Gathering Championship, Guiyang praised sincerely. Li Dan also didn't expect that this time it would go so smoothly. Speaking of which, from dealing with Lu Song, exhausting all his spiritual power, to using Howren's righteous energy, he reached the mid-term breakthrough. Then to Rohirrim tonight. 10 days at best. 10 days, 2 realms, even a genius would need at least half a year. When they returned to Tanya High Pavilion, Master and Mistress were probably completely confused. No, keep a low profile, and a high profile can easily get struck by lightning. In fact, what he wants to try most now is what it feels like to be in the water. He could feel that as the Luahidan was refined, something in his body seemed to be opened up and changed a lot. I have to thank Island Master Goof for the Earth Flame Gallbladder. Without it, I really wouldn't have been able to break through, Li Dan said truthfully with a smile. When Guiyang heard this, he suddenly smiled. Things are just dead objects, and they will play a useful role depending on who is in their hands. If it can help the child break through a realm, it means it belongs to you. And for such a big breakthrough, you are completely unprepared for me, which shows your trust. I am even happier than you. That being the case, I won't bother you anymore. Have a good rest, and we'll talk tomorrow. Li Dan thanks. As the two separated, Li Dan did not go back to Dabeo or Bao's home, but plunged into the sea water. After a while, his head was exposed and he screamed excitedly. It turned out to be like a fish in water, no different from land, even faster. Looking at the bright moon, Li Dan laughed. I don't know what the sea beasts are doing at the moment, whether they miss me or not. I will be in the water tomorrow to have fun with you, but I don't know if I will doubt myself and who is the underwater creature. At the same moment, on the quiet sea surface, 300 heads were gently rising and falling with the flow of the sea surface. Under the bright moon, everyone turned their heads to look at their boss. The two demons, the sea lion and the male shark, were trembling all over. At this moment, they feel like idiots. After a while, he roared again and again, "Your uncles!" Today's sea is rough, and rows of white wave lakes are rolling together, sounding like thunder, and moving like thousands of horses galloping. The sea surface was undulating, and the bottom of the sea was bustling with many unfamiliar faces. In the original crater, there are now more than 1,000 sea beasts of various colors, waiting to watch the cave. Here, in addition to the sea lion and the male shark, there are two other sea monsters. One is a turtle creature with an extremely hard turtle shell on its front and back and a shiny green head old turtle. The other one is a black octopus with a suction cup on its mouth and 8 legs on its body, 8 claws. They are the two big monsters closest to this place in the nearby sea. But at this moment, the two demons, the male shark and the sea lion, were sitting aside, looking at Ba Zhao in disbelief. After they did get the news, they rushed to help him. After all, they still understood the truth of death and coldness, otherwise they would not be easy if the king knew about it. But the surprise was that Ba Zhao, an old immortal, actually broke through to the middle stage of Huayuan realm. Everyone is obviously on the same level. How could you do this? The guest suddenly becomes the host. In the world of monsters, the most basic operation is the law of the jungle. I am stronger than you. As long as I defeat you, you must either surrender and I will take over your territory or die. Although they didn't challenge me, if they really fought, I really couldn't beat them. It has many hands. 2 fists are no match for 4 hands, let alone 8 hands. Ba Zhao sat quietly on it, looking at the old turtle, sea lion and male shark, and frowned. It is undeniable that the evolution of human beings is the most perfect fit between heaven and earth. We monsters are also learning from each other's strengths and striving for excellence, such as evolutionary transformation. We can, to the greatest extent possible, move closer to their physical characteristics and draw on their strengths while maintaining the original advantages. Is it wrong to make up for shortcomings? Faced with Ba Zhao's words, the 3 big demons shook their heads repeatedly, especially the male shark looked at him and said nothing. That's fine, survival of the fittest is the law of nature, but why do you always use it to describe us? This is serious discrimination against us and a trampling on our dignity, Ba Zhao said angrily. Shiyao, you look at me, I look at you. We didn't use it. I'm not talking about you, but Zhua. Forget it, you said that person will come today, right? Ba Zhao asked with a sigh. The sea lion nodded. Judging from the insults he has given me for 2 consecutive days, he should come today as well. I always feel that he has a strong interest in insulting our sea clan. Ba Zhao snorted. A mere human in the middle stage of Huayuan realm is a bit too arrogant. Now that old turtle and I are here, plus the more than 700 subordinates we brought with us, we still don't believe it. We can't catch him. Live with him? The old turtle, who rarely spoke, said, Brother Ba Zhao is in the middle stage of Huayuan realm. The 3 of us are in the early stage. With 1,000 tribesmen, and in our territory, it should be easy to kill a human being. This time, it's done. The sea lion nodded excitedly. It was already looking forward to the human coming soon to see what the gift it had prepared for him was like. You will definitely be surprised. The male shark thought for a while. Brother Ba Zhao, we have to be cautious about this matter. It's best to take it by surprise. Judging from the 2 days of fighting, this human being takes advantage of us every time. After a while, he rushed out of the sea because he couldn't breathe. I guess that his broken back hand should also be set on the sea, so he must not be allowed to rush out. Ba Zhao nodded. This is pretty much what I thought. The shortcoming of human beings is that they cannot move under the sea for a long time, even if they are in the spirit-gathering realm. This is our advantage and also our shortcoming, because we are in the same goes for land. In that case, let's make a good plan. When he appears, Old Turtle will lead his troops to guard against the sky. He will never be given a chance to rush out for a breath. He will be suffocated to death, and you will waste time with me. He is a strong man in the middle stage of Huayuan realm. If he counterattacks before death, it will be terrible. What we have to do is to constantly pierce his bubble cover. Puncture? When the 3 big demons heard this, their eyes suddenly lit up. What an excellent hunter needs is enough patience. Since he wants to play, we will play with him. I would like to see how long he can last at the bottom of the sea. After Ba Zhao finished speaking, a smile suddenly appeared at the corner of his mouth. The other big demons also laughed. The sea lion even smiled and burst into tears. Thinking about last night, I waited for him on the sea for so long like a fool, but he actually went back. It doesn't follow common sense at all. Take action. Yes. Li Dan once again entered the sea with ease and arrived at the sea lion's cave. Seeing this, the 300 or so lazy sea beasts here immediately surrounded him. As for Li Dan, his aura is restrained at the moment, and what he reveals to the outside world is still the aura of the middle stage of Huayuan realm. If you look too tall, what will people do if they know they are outmatched and don't chase you? If you don't chase me, you won't be able to complete your self-discipline task. The rewards for wind movement and Siren's Whisper are even gone. Suffer more. Not only that, Li Dan also put a bubble cover on himself. He had to keep his ace secretly in case of emergencies. This is the most basic operation for every cultivator. What idiot would expose all his trump cards just by showing up? Isn't he looking for death? Seeing these sea beasts who were so angry at him, Li Dan suddenly felt so kind. Putting his hands on his hips, he shouted with a loud voice, "You monster, get out of here. Why are you pretending to be a coward? Do you dare to agree to my call? Damn human, you can't run away this time." The next moment, a warm and angry voice sounded, and then a green light flashed past, and then landed steadily in front. Li Dan was stunned. "I went and a Neptune actually came out. Human, I have prepared a big gift for you this time. I wonder if you like it?" The sea lion flew out, followed closely by the male shark and octopus. With a roar, more than 700 sea beasts hiding in the surrounding sand rushed out with a roar and suddenly surrounded Li Dan. All of them smiled ferociously and clapped the weapons in their hands. Li Dan looked at the 4 demons, especially his eyes lingered on the octopus. "It's immoral. There's a trap waiting for me. Should I be lucky or unlucky? Fortunately, I broke through to the late stage of Huayuan realm last night, otherwise, it would really be possible for me to end up here. However, you may be disappointed." Li Dan suddenly pretended to be shocked and panicked. Seeing Li Dan's expression, the sea lion and the male shark felt so happy. "Aren't you crazy? Show me how crazy you are." Li Dan, on the other hand, moved back slightly without leaving any trace. Then he suddenly lifted up and fell down. Bang! The sole of his foot fell, and a dull explosion sounded loudly. Immediately, rolling mud and sand mixed with an invisible force shot out. A series of shrill screams rang out, and the 4 big demons quickly pushed aside the sand, and they saw Li Dan slashing through a passage and escaping far away. "Hurry up and chase me, old turtle," Keep an eye on the top at all times. Don't let him breathe. Ba Zhao shouted anxiously, and then he and the other two demons directly chased after him. In the fierce current, Li Dan was running away frantically, and behind him were thousands of sea beasts chasing him. Of course, Li Dan was also excited, because with the increase in sea beasts today, the progress bar in my mind is much faster than yesterday. Looking at the progress, if there are 100,000 sea beasts chasing me, I am afraid it can be completed in a few breaths. Of course, if there are so many, I might have finished playing them. Call out. A black light came instantly, and Li Dan didn't even have time to react. He saw that his bubble cover condensed by spiritual power broke a small hole, and oxygen flowed out. Li Dan was startled and quickly blocked him, but the soles of the feet were completely exposed to the seawater. The scope was suddenly reduced a lot. Turning around, he saw the 8-clawed sea monster staring at him with a ferocious smile. Ouch, you underestimated him. Li Dan quickly increased his speed. At this moment, the top of the head slowly turned dark, and even the line of sight was greatly affected. When he looked up, he saw a huge turtle shell covering the top of his head, and it was moving in line with him at an extremely fast speed. Li Dan frowned, seeming to understand what their plan was. It's quite smart, and it wants to suffocate me to death. It's a pity that you completely miscalculated. Behind them, after seeing the successful attack of the 8 claws and the shrinkage of the bubble, the sea lion and the male shark howled excitedly. Ba Zhao was also proud. He originally wanted to use force to conquer all the territory in this area, but even if he fought, they would not truly surrender. But now it's okay, there is this human being who comes to make trouble, and makes them suffer again and again. As long as you show your clever mind and help them vent their anger and surrender like this, you can truly use it for yourself. The next priority is to attack the city, and the highest priority is to attack the heart. Hurry up and keep disrupting his line of sight. Leave it to me to pierce the bubble cover. Ba Zhao ordered. The sea lion and the male shark nodded one after another, unknowingly obeying his instructions, and quickly led the sea beasts to go around from the side. As the progress progressed, Li Dan in front also understood the content of their words. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and he ran quickly. Call out! Call out! Call out! Attack after attack kept piercing Li Dan's oxygen mask, and sea lions and male sharks kept making trouble beside him. Above his head, the huge turtle shell prevented him from rushing up to breathe. At this moment, Li Dan's oxygen mask could only wrap around his forehead, as if he was wearing a spacesuit. As he narrowly avoided another attack from Ba Zhao, the last bubble burst. Li Dan was completely covered in seawater. For a moment, Li Dan blushed, kept tapping the water with his feet, and swam upward with all his strength. Seeing this, all the demons burst into laughter. Quickly, pay attention to the top. Don't give him a chance. Cover it. Press it down. The beasts obeyed the order and stirred up the seawater with all their strength to push him down. Seeing that it was working, all the sea beasts became more excited than the last. Just as Li Dan was about to rush up, the seawater suddenly rolled violently, and the turtle shell covered Li Dan. He suffered a recoil force and was pushed down directly. Stay away from him. Be careful of retaliation before death. I want to watch him suffocate to death little by little. Ba Zhao quickly ordered. Okay, listen to Brother Ba Zhao. Well done, guys. At this moment, Li Dan stopped, turned his head and looked at the dense pursuit team, rolling his eyes repeatedly. Seeing this, the sea lion became even more excited. Everyone, hold on, hold him back, he's dying. Li Dan purred, opened his mouth and spit out several bubbles. His body twitched, and finally he turned around and ran towards the bottom of the sea. But at this moment, all the sea beasts were not in a hurry, and just followed him to consume him. Regret it. If I had known today, why bother in the beginning? Come to our territory to provoke us. You really think we are pigs? Li Dan twitched again, and the demons howled excitedly. Ding, the progress of being chased by sea beasts on the third day is 100%, and today's self-discipline task is completed 3/30. Siren language proficiency progress 3/30. Wind movement proficiency progress is 3/30. The next moment, the sound of the system sounded, and it was completed faster than yesterday. Li Dan, who was looking at the end of the road ahead of him, his face turned red from suppressing his emotions, and even lost his mind, quietly showed a smile at the corner of his mouth. He looked down and swam hard down, until a huge trench appeared, like an abyss under the sea. It's dark and quiet, and even the water here flows leisurely, with a strong sense of coldness coming from it. Li Dan stopped here, looking at the endless darkness below, facing the monsters, as if he had resigned himself to his fate, and plunged headfirst. Stop! Ba Zhao ordered everyone to stop and sighed as he watched Li Dan's figure gradually disappearing into the darkness. He is a respectable opponent. He would rather lose his body than let us get it. This is probably his last dignity. The sea lion rushed up and looked down. The temperature below this place is extremely low. Even if you go to the middle stage of Huayuan realm, your soul will be frozen to pieces. Even I would not want to touch this place on weekdays. He can't survive, and since he's not breathing, he's probably dead at this moment, Danchao said. The turtle above his head also collected his magical power and felt so relaxed. How did these two guys get bullied like this? Let's take a look here first, in case the corpse floats up, Ba Zhao ordered. Suddenly, the sea monsters stretched the blockade, and they all stared at the endless abyss below. Time passed by minute, and it continued like this until dark, and it was still quiet and nothing underneath. Some sea beasts even became dizzy after staring at it for so long that they couldn't help but want to fall. Ba Zhao also shook his head and shuddered, really responding to those words. When you stare into the abyss stares into you. Escape, leave a few here to watch, let's go back. Hearing Ba Zhao's words, the other three demons nodded in agreement. A human being who has run out of oil and burns out his lamp will simply not be able to survive if he goes down here. All the monsters shouted in celebration and returned, leaving a few unlucky ones behind, cursing and guarding. But no one noticed that not long after the large army left, a figure quietly swam up from the side. Li Dan's face was covered with a layer of white frost, his hands were trembling across his chest, and he lowered his head and looked down. It's so cold. He glanced at the few sea beasts who didn't take the guard seriously at all, and then swam away. Day 4. Report, bosses, that human is here again. A sea beast ran in a panic. The 4 sirens who were chatting and laughing were suddenly stunned. No way. As the 4 demons ran out, they saw Li Dan standing there with a smile on his face. Hello, we meet again. This time, Li Dan said it in the most orthodox siren language. The 4 demons were stunned. What shocked them was Li Dan's siren language. They were shocked that Li Dan would appear here alive. This. Li Dan looked at the 4 demons, then slowly raised his middle finger. For idiots, come after me. If you catch me, I'll let you hey. After Li Dan finished speaking, he turned around and ran away. The 4 demons looked at me and I looked at you, and their faces suddenly turned red with anger. Everyone is here, chase me. If I want to survive now, I have to figure out how he can speak our language. After Ba Zhao shouted, he chased after him without hesitation. Li Dan escaped through the abyss of the sea again, which made Ba Zhao and the others deeply doubt whether there is any way out below. But even if he followed, even if he was a sea creature, his soul would almost freeze to pieces, so he hurried up with lingering fear. It is impossible for a mere human being to be stronger than them. Who is the sea creature here? But just when they thought Li Dan was finally dead this time, he appeared again on the 5th day. This time, they decided to seal off the trench to prevent him from escaping, but Li Dan left from above openly. For a moment, all the demons wanted to cry but had no tears. Is this sent by God to defeat them? To this end, Ba Zhao also held an emergency meeting. Why does this human keep coming to tease them? Have the sea lions offended him before? The sea lion shouted that he was wronged and defended himself repeatedly, which had nothing to do with me. That's what treasures there are here that make people miss them. The sea lion even wanted to cry without tears. What kind of treasure can I have in my 3/3 of an acre of land? After several attempts, there were not many men left. Seeing that I am now a polished commander, what else can I hide? But Ba Zhao and the others don't believe it. If you haven't offended anyone, why should he tease you again and again? Not only did he insult you, but he also dragged us into the humiliation. After Li Dan left again, Ba Zhao mobilized thousands of sea beasts to dig 3 feet into the sea lion's territory to find something. Suddenly, sand and mud flew into the sky. Only the sea lion sat alone on the stone, watching all this with an expressionless face. It feels the deep malice coming from this world. It doesn't matter if someone insults me, what's the difference between you and him now? Is this the distortion of human nature or the decline of evil morality? Obviously, nothing was found in the end. Ba Zhao looked at the silence of the 3 demons and now only regretted why he was invited to join in the first place. If they leave now, they can only be regarded as giving in. Wang knows that he will probably not be able to spare them. This becomes an act of destroying one's own prestige and boosting the ambition of others. I decided that since the 4 of us can't do it, we'll find 2 more, Old Ray and Old Shark. Both of them are already in the middle stage of Huan Yuan realm. I don't believe it. They can't catch those damn humans. Ba Zhao slapped the stone table and said. The sea lion, the male shark and the old turtle glanced secretly at each other. Why do we feel that you are dragging them into the water? Anyway, if you want to be humiliated, let's be humiliated together. We don't care. The 3 demons nodded secretly and clapped their hands together. Good idea. When Li Dan came again, he found that they had 2 more helpers. But because he was already familiar with the terrain, could understand the sea monster language they communicated with, as well as the amphibious wind technique and the water in one technique brought by Rohedin, he did not use any of his late-stage Huiyuan realm spiritual power. Complete the day's tasks easily. Come on, the more you come, the faster my progress bar will run. Complete the task early, you take a rest, and I take a rest too. Hello, me, everyone, that's what's really good. In this way, day after day, Li Dan happily headed towards the ocean. Unknowingly, he discovered that there were already 13 sea monsters chasing him. A total of 5 people are in the middle stage of Huayuan realm and 8 are in the early stage of Huayuan realm. As for the sea beasts, there are already more than 5,000. This made Li Dan complete the task faster and faster each time, and he went home early to rest, leaving behind a group of sirens beating their chests. When he went there on the 20th, Li Dan discovered that they had moved. Li Dan was the only one left in the empty underwater volcano area. A strong sense of loss made Li Dan feel like the person who was hated and abandoned in a group. You bastard, you didn't even notify me when you moved. I thought we already knew each other well. No need for emotion. Li Dan had no choice but to continue swimming further away until noon. Li Dan, who was originally sighing, suddenly lit up because he sensed the spy signal again. After going around several bays, Li Dan almost cried with joy when he saw the dark seabed in front of him where the sea beasts were temporarily stationed. Finally found the organization. Hi, everyone. Li Dan couldn't wait to get out and greeted the sea beasts. All the sea beasts were confused. Looking at Li Dan with a smile on his face, they felt very tired. In the history, I have never been so aggrieved by a human being and forced me to leave my home. It's not that you can't beat him, it's that he won't give you a chance to beat him. He is like cotton, giving you a feeling of powerlessness. I raised my fist and you turned and ran. I put down my fist, and you smiled playfully, clinging to me as if you were returning to your natal home. Within the station, there were already 16 sirens, all of them trembling with anger. Kill! Suddenly, tens of thousands of sea beasts rushed forward. Li Dan turned around and ran away. With the mission completed, Li Dan found a place nearby to rest. He didn't have to go ashore to breathe anyway. The main fear is that the large army will leave him behind again. In this way, with the arrival of the 27th day, there were already 46 sea monsters chasing Li Dan, including 2 in Huayuan realm. As for the 10 in the later stage, the number of sea monsters has reached an unprecedented 100,000. Li Dan has already released his hidden late-stage strength, otherwise people will really die. As for the task, it is even faster than ever. The loading speed is as fast as having a membership fast. It takes 3 or 5 breaths to complete, and then you have to run for your life with all your strength. Several times I was almost stuck in a dead end and almost got dumped. Fortunately, Jiren has his own destiny and Li Dan escaped safely. 3 days, hold on for 3 more days, the task is completed, stop staying, and go home early. Li Dan wiped the wound alone and said to himself, he missed his master and his wife a little. There are also the 3rd and 4th senior brothers of Crouching Dragon and Phoenix. I don't know what they are doing at the moment or whether they miss me. At the same time, the owners of the surrounding islands, including Qianhu Island, all received reports from the spies. Report back to the island owner. Our spies discovered that the Demon King's secret place to recuperate has been left by his cronies recently, with unknown directions. Bao, where the Demon King is recuperating, the remnant army stationed there has been reduced from the original 130,000 to less than 30,000. The whereabouts of the rest are unknown. Report, the sea surface has been rolling violently at noon recently. Because it is too close to the bottom of the sea, the specific cause cannot be ascertained. According to the attributes, they are likely to be making extremely destructive weapons. Go and invite the other island owners to discuss this matter together. You cannot be careless about this matter. Broken Star Island. 27 island owners with spirit-gathering realms all gathered in one place. When things go wrong, there must be a demon. A month ago, we worked together to seriously injure the Demon King. He actually used a strategy to sneak attack on our hometown. It's really disgusting. I know, but now the place where the Demon King is recuperating is not guarded by an army. Whether it is the former confidants or the 100,000 army that mysteriously disappeared one after another, we must pay attention to it. Having said that, this is an opportunity for us. Let's leave all the spiritual cultivation of Huan Yuan realm and Qi condensation realm behind to prevent them from sneak attacks. Just our 27 spirit gathering realm members will be given to him. What do you think about a surprise attack? I agree, whether he does it intentionally or not, we have to try. Even if we fail, we can retreat. It's done, let's do it. Just today, 27 people from the spirit gathering realm quietly left the island. Destination the place where the Demon King recovers from his injuries. The mighty 27 people from the spirit gathering realm quietly approached the place where the Demon King was recuperating. Along the way, they tried their best to choose areas where sea beasts seldom appeared, whizzing by. No one spoke, like ghosts. Stop! The next moment, Guiyang, who was rushing in front, suddenly raised his hand. All the island owners also felt something and flew down quickly. One of them patted the storage bag, and a leafy tree appeared and was thrown down. Everyone immediately hid on the branches and covered themselves with leaves. They have been on the road for 2 full days and can be said to be very deep into the sea. In 1 more day, we almost arrived at the Demon King's base camp. Everyone's body is tense, and the slightest movement may expose this secret plan. What's going on? One of the island owners asked in a low voice, and then looked forward. Guiyang shook his head and quietly poked his head out of the island. The entire sea was calm and the sun was shining brightly on it, sparkling and peaceful. But no one said anything, because compared to them, Guiyang was the most experienced hunter. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths, boom! At the next moment, the entire sea surface suddenly exploded violently, and a mushroom cloud wave of hundreds of meters directly rose. The pouring seawater brought the fish and crabs crashing down and hit the branch, causing the small tree to almost roll over. "Are we ambushed?" someone said in disbelief, and immediately became alert. But then, they saw the most unforgettable scene in history. Huge water splashes fell, and in the air, a young man was panting. His whole body exuded the strength of the late Huayuan realm, or even stronger. There is no better trial than running through dangerous dangers one after another, running out of spiritual power, and then frantically using the spiritual crystals on your body to replenish your spiritual power. For nearly a month, Li Dan's spiritual power has been fluctuating, and it turns out that he is about to break through to the great perfection of Huayuan realm. It is said that in life and death crises, potential explodes and breakthroughs are made. In the next few days, Li Dan was hunted down every day. Moreover, there are more and more high-level officials of Kraken, and they are all desperate for their lives. Now every time I go to provoke someone, I plan my escape in advance. Not one, but dozens of them so that they can change at any time. This shows how much danger he encountered. "It's him." Guiyang looked at Li Dan and murmured. After not seeing each other for more than 20 days, he thought he was really gone this time, but he didn't expect that he was still there. "Who is he?" someone asked quietly, and then looked at the young man. Guiyang made a hushed sound, and everyone concealed their presence. It seemed like he wasn't here for them. Li Dan, who was in the air, patted his sore buttocks and yelled at the sea, "It's that shameless one who hurt me just now." Whoosh! Figures shot out directly from the water. 6 people from the great perfection of Huayuan realm, 12 from the late stage of Huayuan realm, 30 from the middle stage of Huayuan realm, and 56 from the early stage of Huayuan realm surrounded Li Dan. Everyone's eyes suddenly condensed. Go ahead, this guy did something outrageous. But then, the entire sea surface suddenly rolled violently, as if something huge was about to rush out from below. The waves pushed the branches where everyone was hiding far away, and then, a ferocious sea beast's head emerged from it. At a rough glance, there are no less than 100,000 of them. Now, it was everyone's turn to swallow and look at the young man in the air with his ears picked out, expressing their admiration. None of their island owners are qualified to enjoy such a lineup. We all believe that you have defiled the Demon King's princess, and that's why you suffered such revenge. What a fierce man! Looking at the big monsters and the dense sea beasts, everyone understood where the intelligence said the missing guards had gone. All the emotions were attracted to this young man. Doesn't that mean that there are really no traps in the Demon King's place, only it is there alone? Everyone's eyes suddenly lit up like never before. They had been worried before that the many great monsters that disappeared and the hundreds of thousands of sea beasts would set some kind of trap or attack their hometown. Now the worries are completely gone. I said, "What do you think? We have been chasing each other back and forth for so many days. After all, we can be considered acquaintances. If you give me one day tomorrow, we will never be in contact with each other. What do you think?" With only tomorrow being the last day left, Li Dan has completely completed his 1-month self-discipline task. The waves kept pushing the branches away, and everyone hid their auras, not daring to reveal the slightest fluctuation of spiritual power. I just vaguely heard Li Dan's words. I've been chasing him for many days. Just give him one more day to die. An island owner was a little surprised because they were only 1 day away from the Demon King's hiding place, and the main force of the Demon King is attracted here by another person. Doesn't that mean? Everyone looked at Guiyang, because he was the only one who knew this young man. Guiyang, to be honest, is this a plan you have prepared a long time ago? Of course Guiyang also heard it, and at this moment, facing everyone's questions, he felt reassured. Since there is no trap, the success rate of their surprise attack to kill the Demon King is at least 90%. At that time, this huge sea area will have to be re-divided into resource areas. What you can get and how big the area is depends on rewards based on merit. And as he gets older, when the time comes to really compete for resources, he may not be able to defeat him. Guillaume rolled his eyes and made another shoe gesture, and everyone leaned down. Now that you have discovered it, I will stop pretending. His name is Li Dan, and he is a member of a large sect that I specially invited from the mainland. For this reason, I also gave him an 800-year-old earthly flame gallbladder as a gift. It's hard work. Do you still remember a month ago, we won the victory, and we were pursuing the victory, and we all went out to collect victory resources, but the sea beasts actually launched an attack on our rear, causing heavy casualties and making people angry. Talking about that incident, everyone gritted their teeth. Yes, I never expected that they would actually give my group of people a counterattack. Wait a minute, I remember that you were the only one on Qianhu Island who was not attacked. Instead, you beat up the attackers and fled in panic. The information I got at that time said that a young man suddenly appeared from the island. Could it be him? An island owner, he suddenly reacted and pointed at Li Dan. Other island owners are also enlightened. Yes, that seems to be the case. Guillaume nodded. You guessed it right, it's him. For the expansion of all our islands and for our descendants to have a safe and healthy living environment, this plan actually started long before we dealt with the Demon King. It's been carried out. The operation code is Capture the King. I have to apologize to all the island owners first. On the one hand, the sea monster's sneak attack came too suddenly, and he was the only one on the island. He could only save the people on this island in a hurry, and other islands did not have enough time. On the other hand, he was the only one on the island. On the one hand, his presence cannot be exposed. At least the Demon King cannot notice him. His face is white and his skin is good. It is easy to tell that he comes from other places. When the island owners heard this, they nodded repeatedly. It doesn't matter. There is nothing we can do about this situation. Our islands seem to be together, but in fact, they are very far away from one side to the other. Yes, that young man is beautiful and handsome. If he really shows his face on a large scale, he will most likely be noticed. Master Gudao, you did the right thing in this matter. It would probably be the same for us. Moreover, you used 800-year-old earth flame gallbladder as a gift. This shows that he must have something extraordinary. Tell me quickly. I have already cannot wait anymore. Guillaume looked at the longing eyes of everyone, and after pondering, he continued to talk about his plan. He is my trump card. Ever since I accidentally saved the residents of this island that day, I have made him completely lurk and implement the plan. This is the beginning of the operation code named Capture the King. He said that he had his own way to attract away the sea beasts that were guarding the Demon King, but there was no telling how many of them he could attract. When the time comes, once the Demon King's escort team has been reduced, let me quickly join forces with you. But I didn't expect that you all were so well informed that you came to the door first. And the reason why I flew here is to verify. This is also an agreement between me and him. Let's see, everything is according to plan. The hunt for the Demon King over there can begin. As Guillaume's plan was made public, all the island owners took a long breath, looked at each other, and bowed in unison. It turns out that this old man has been silently contributing to this sea area. The actions they are taking now are all because of his planning. Old and cunning, no, it should be said, old is still spicy. If this plan succeeds, Mr. Gu will definitely be number one. What should he do? Someone asked, looking worriedly at Li Dan, who was getting further and further away. Guillaume was also full of worry. He is already buying time for us with his life. One day, we have to rush there as quickly as possible, kill the Demon King, and then return, taking advantage of the two forces to split, completely solve the future troubles. Guillaume said this, stood up and bowed to Li Dan from afar. The other island owners also frowned and bowed with moved eyes. Brotherly, we will remember everything you did to the islands. Rest assured, we will never let you down. 27 islands and hundreds of thousands of residents will never forget your great kindness. Li Dan sneezed repeatedly, and then realized that he had subconsciously spoken the human language again, and these guys couldn't understand it. I say, brothers, let's stop here today. It's not good to fight and kill too much. Although we are of different races, we are all part of the same people living on this continent. It won't work without anyone. Let's go back to our own places. At home, everyone can find their own mother. Do you think that's okay? Li Dan rubbed his hands with a smile. Human, you want to forget it like this? What do you think of us? I just want to know now, why can you speak my language? An eel-shaped sea monster with electric current flashing all over its body, exuding the cultivation of the great perfection of Huayuan realm, its eyes were cold at the moment, with a trace of ruthless bloodthirsty and rage. It was this person in front of them that made them miss again and again, unable to catch him. He was as slippery as a loach, and he obviously only had the strength of the late Huanyuan realm, but his escaping skills were so powerful that all monsters could not catch up to him, whether in the air or in the sea. Sometimes we all suspect that he is our companion, the kind who has a perfect form. The reason why they haven't given up so far is that all the great demons probably have the same intention and want to obtain this magical power. Of course, slaps in the face and wanting to regain the status also account for the vast majority of people. When his subordinates found them one by one in disgrace, they thought they were joking. Originally, they were defeated by humans some time ago, and they were very angry. Now I heard that there is a human being who is playing with them alone in the deep sea area. How can he not teach him a lesson? But I didn't expect that I miscalculated and couldn't catch it. And they are getting more and more anxious, because they left secretly, and the Demon King doesn't know yet. When he found out that all the demons he had failed to catch a single human being, one could imagine how furious he would be. Facing the siren's question, Li Dan chuckled, "This is a secret, so I won't tell you. But one thing I can tell you is that sometimes your numbers and size make it easier for me to hide. For example, like now." After Li Dan finished speaking, he was caught off guard and suddenly dived to the bottom of the sea. The bustling sea beasts rushed to catch them, but the sea was full of chaos. You bumped into me, and I bumped into yours. When I looked again, Li Dan had disappeared. Chase me. Yes. The wind is howling, the thunder is roaring, and the huge waves are rolling. Dark clouds covered the sky, and the entire sea was dark. The deafening thunder, mixed with flashes of lightning, can clearly see the swaying sea and the earth. Today's storm is unprecedented. Call. The next moment, with another flash of lightning, a figure suddenly sprinted out of the sea and ran away quickly. Behind him, ferocious figures followed closely, and on the sea, more than 100,000 sea beasts rushed out and chased after him. Li Dan wiped the rain on his face, looked at the red eyes behind him, and swallowed. Ding! The progress of being chased by sea beasts on the 30th day is 100%, and today's self-discipline task is completed 30/30. Ding! The self-discipline task of being chased by sea beasts for a month has been successfully completed. Reward the complete version of siren language, which can be used to communicate with most underwater creatures. Reward the complete version of function technique, which can catch up with and escape practitioners who are one level higher than the host. The next self-discipline task will start from time to time. As the voice in his mind fell, Li Dan's speed surged again with the complete function technique. I said, "It's thundering, it's raining, you go home and collect your clothes. I promise not to show up again this time. Do you think we can leave a good impression on each other?" Li Dan shouted loudly in siren language. It's so crazy. In the end, this group of sea beasts actually resorted to self-destruction to prevent themselves from escaping. It's over, this last day really pissed them off. Damn human, no one has ever played with me like this, Maori. If we don't cut you into pieces, our ocean clan will be completely disgraced. Today, you are destined to be unable to escape, Ghost Whale. If you don't do it now, you will wait. When, behind him, a perfect sea monster in Huayuan realm suddenly roared. Li Dan, who had been running away quickly, suddenly felt uneasy. The next moment, the ocean in front suddenly stretched out an unimaginable mouth and headed straight for Li Dan, like a natural abyss. But by chance, Li Dan just happened to fall into it. At this moment, his face was frightened, and he hurriedly flew higher. However, the whale's mouth was too big and too fast, and it started to slowly close even in the sky above. Almost. Li Dan roared angrily, trying his best to fly out. When the demons saw this, they were immediately ecstatic. This is because they secretly loaned out the king's mount just to avenge their shame. Because it was too big, it had been hiding here as a backup. Sure enough, this stupid human fell into the trap. Now, let's see how you escape. Boom! The moment the giant mouth closed, a powerful combined sound was heard, and immediately, 100,000 sea beasts celebrated excitedly. Done. At this moment, Li Dan was really panicked and hurriedly ran around, only to find that the skin on the inner wall of the mouth was so tough that it could not be broken except by the spirit-gathering realm. This is really a big deal. Just when Li Dan was looking at the dark abyss below and considering whether to get out from below, suddenly, the entire whale's mouth trembled violently, followed by an extremely painful roar. He only saw a long sword piercing the inner wall from the outside inward. It was only 0.1 centimeters away from his throat, and then he was pushed out by the roaring air wave. After stumbling and finally managing to stabilize his body, he saw the sea beasts in the sea were frightened. What happened?